Hello everyone and happy Tuesday. I'm Carson Courier. Anna Orsini has the day off. So happening today, it is Arizona's presidential preference election day. So we want to take a look at some video here. We know that the polls opened this morning at 6 a.m. And this was giving people the chance to have their voices heard in the presidential preference election. Today's event in Arizona is just one of several happening across the country. We want to take a live look now to Ohio. We know that this is just one place that's also holding their state's primary today. Primaries are also being held in Florida, Illinois, and Kansas. This is despite both President Biden and Republican challenger Donald Trump having enough delegates to clinch their party's nominations. 13 News reporter Jack Cooper has more on what Pima County officials are saying about voter turnout today, what they're expecting.
Leaders say they aren't really sure what kind of turnout to expect, and this probably won't be too good of a gauge of how many people are actually going to show up in November as well. Now, so far, the recorders sent out about 400,000 early ballots, and about 140,000 of them have been returned. If you're going out to vote today, you must be registered Republican or Democrat, and you have to bring your ID as well. This is going to be the second largest election since voting centers first started, and today will serve as a tune-up before the presidential election that happens in November.
We made a lot of changes. We've improved some things with the printers, as well as the supplies that we send out. And so we're hoping to see how that goes, adjusting, sending out more voting booths and privacy booths to adjust with any lines that may occur. So this is really a kind of a trial run for the primary and general election this year, so we can fine tune things.
Now, if you still need to vote or drop off your ballot, there are voting centers all across Pima County. You can type in your address or click the Use My Location tab to find the nearest one. This is what the website looks like. You can see just how many voting centers there are all across Pima County. We also have this full list posted up at KOLD.com. Reporting in studio, I'm Jack Cooper, 13 News.
Meanwhile, President Biden is set to land in Phoenix later today. His daily schedule shows he's expected to arrive in Reno first, Reno, Nevada. That's at about 11 a.m. Arizona time. He arrives in Phoenix at about 4:15 Arizona time. White House sources say he'll unveil a multi-billion-dollar award for Intel to expand its chip production in multiple states, including here in Arizona. This will be the president's first visit to our state since last September, when he paid tribute to the late Senator John McCain during the dedication of the McCain Library at ASU. We'll let you know what comes out of his visit. And we want to take a live look outside on this first day of spring. Looking gorgeous out there. We have 13 First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell joining us. And Mallory, honestly, March has been gorgeous.
So nice.
So nice.
It could be so much warmer than this.
Yeah.
But thankfully, winter is trying to stick around, or it was.
Yeah.
60s and 70s out there. We're going to be in the 70s today, but we do have some 80s in that 7-day forecast. Just a couple of them to sprinkle them in there. But yes, today is the first day of spring. It's the vernal equinox. That means those sun rays are right over the equator. So the earth is not tilted toward or away from the sun today. And most of us across the earth dealing with 12 hours of daylight, 12 hours of darkness there. Of course, we surpassed that last week. So we're at 12 hours, 7 minutes of daylight here in Tucson. Our sunrise today was at 6:28 a.m. Our sunset this evening at 6:35. And it's going to be a nice one out there. Highs running a few degrees cooler than normal. Low 70s likely today and tomorrow in Tucson. We return to the upper 70s Thursday, low 80s Friday and Saturday. And then Saturday will be the warmest day of the week. Not tracking any rain chances. We had that isolated chance yesterday. That moves off to our north today. We stay dry through Saturday, and then those rain chances return Sunday into Monday of next week. But in the meantime, latest satellite and radar, extremely quiet across southern Arizona, making way for all that beautiful sunshine that we are seeing out there this morning. We will see a few clouds bubble up starting around lunchtime, it looks like. Highs once again 60s, low 70s today. Rain, snow staying off to our north. A little bit of a breeze at times, but not quite as gusty as yesterday. And then a few clouds will filter filter in from the south tonight, with lows primarily in the 40s. Your first alert 7-day forecast here, similar highs tomorrow, and then there's that warming trend, 78 Thursday, low 80s Friday and Saturday. Clouds increase Saturday ahead of those rain chances Sunday into Monday. That will cool things back off. So 70 Sunday, down to 66 degrees by next Monday. So we have 60s, 70s, and 80s in that 7-day forecast.
Wow. And we talked a little bit about this yesterday. The fact that we haven't seen an 80-degree day in March is almost unheard of.
Yes. Well, and it's funny because we thought we had one at the end of January. And we were like, uh-oh, here we go. 2 in February, none in March so far. And today's what, March 19th? So
exactly.
We're doing pretty well.
Yeah. And then after we're warming up, you said it's 66 on Monday. So shoot, it's a win.
Yeah, I'd say so.
Awesome. Thank you, Mallory.
Of course.
And turning now to something local that we are following for you. We know happening today, 3 people from the Stop Cop City protests last month are expected in court. Last week, a Pima County jury indicted all 3 of these individuals on 5 felony counts. We know that it's Hassan, Gabriel Parks, and Arlene Villalobos. They are set for arraignment this afternoon. Some of those charges include arson conspiracy, criminal damage, rioting, and burglary. Tucson police say they were among about 90 protesters who marched through downtown last month in solidarity with the Stop Cop City movement. So we're going to keep watching this for you. Of course, you can see those 3 individuals. You saw them right there on your screen. We'll let you know what comes out of this hearing. Also happening in just about an hour, we know Arizona educators will be calling on Governor Hobbs and lawmakers to rein in ESA vouchers and protect public school funding. As we've reported, the state's ESA voucher program has no budget cap, and costs have exceeded initial estimates by 1,200%. So that is quite a bit. This comes a few weeks after AG Chris Mays announced the indictment of 5 people for stealing more than $600,000 from taxpayers through an ESA voucher fraud scheme. And multiple districts have already announced layoffs or school closures as a result. Educators are meeting at the Capitol in about an hour, as I mentioned. That's going to be held at about 10:45. So we'll keep watching that for you. We'll make sure to update you with the very latest. And speaking of education, students, especially those who are maybe juniors or seniors getting ready to take their SATs or just studying right now to take those SATs, can expect something new this year. So for the first time ever, the SATs are going to be digital. So I actually spoke to the National Testing Association about the first ever digital SATs kicking off this year. Everything from what parents need to know to what students need to know and kind of why they decided to go digital.
This is going to be the first time ever that students are taking this digital SAT. I know when I took the test back in high school before I got into college, you sat down with the paper and the pencil, you were filling in the little bubbles. So how is this going to be a little bit different for students who are getting ready to prepare for those tests?
It's a great question on how the digital SAT is going to be different. So all the benefit or all the changes to the digital test should benefit students. So it's shorter. Instead of being 3 hours, it's now 2 hours and 14 minutes. It's also gives students the option of using an on-screen digital graphing calculator, so they don't need to bring their own calculator. And the reading sections are much shorter. So instead of reading 750 passages, students will, on average, get 75-word passages and just have one question to answer on that shorter passage. But what students also need to understand is just because the passages are shorter and students get more time per question, it doesn't mean the questions are any easier. So actually, the short passages that have one question, those questions still require very strong critical reading skills. And the math questions, if anything, have just gotten harder, even though there are fewer of them. And the test also adapts to students to give the students more appropriately difficult questions for their skill level. So a very strong student will end up getting harder questions, and a not as strong student will actually get easier questions as the test adapts to that ability level.
Wow, so that's really interesting, the whole question aspect of it. But why exactly do you think this change was made? Is it just because technology is becoming greater and greater now that it's 2024? Or do you think it's because they found that doing something digital is going to better set students up for success?
I think the College Board made the change because, just as you said, the technology allows them to make a better testing experience. So if you just have a paper-based test, you have to give even the strongest students a lot of easy questions to just make sure that they're getting all the easy ones right. But with an adaptive test, once they've gotten all the easy, medium, and hard questions correct, you don't need to keep giving them more easy questions like you do on a paper test. You can just get rid of all those easy questions for them. Same thing for a student who's getting all the hard questions wrong. Why continue to give them more hard questions that they're just going to get wrong? Just give them medium and easy questions. So that technology allows the test makers to get an equally valid score with fewer questions. And that's really helpful to students who then have to take a 45-minute shorter test, which is just great on a Saturday morning.
Yeah, for sure. So any advice for, let's say, students or parents who are trying to prepare their students for this new form of testing?
So students and parents, they need to understand that although the format of the test has changed, the test is still testing the same fundamental concepts. So as long as students are learning grammar and reading and mathematics, they're going to be able to improve their scores. And we're really in the golden age of information. So all students can access quality test prep for free through Khan Academy. That's all free SAT test prep online. They can also get more, very inexpensive prep books that they can get, at any bookstore or online. And then they can also go to classes or get private tutoring. For instance, I'm from the National Test Prep Association. We have the largest group of vetted expert tutors in the country. So really, however students learn best, they have access to that information. And all students, by getting a better score, they can do better on their tests, get into better colleges, and get more scholarships.
Awesome. Anything else that you want to add? So since there is a digital calculator, are students not allowed to bring in their own anymore? Like, is there any new rules or anything like that? Or can they still bring in their own calculator if they feel more comfortable doing that?
That's a great question. So students can still bring in their own calculator, and that there are some banned calculators, but almost any calculator will do. But if they feel more comfortable with their calculator, definitely bring that in. What my students do is they bring in their own calculator. They do most of the calculations on their personal calculator, but then that graphing calculator that students get access to is actually a more powerful calculator than the graphing calculator you would bring in. So it's quite frankly better than the expensive calculators you can even buy. So students can still benefit from their own calculator, but certainly they don't need to worry if they don't have a calculator, they're not at a disadvantage. What a lot of families are kind of freaking out about is the fact that Yale, Dartmouth, Brown, and UT Austin have now gone back to test required admissions. And families are wondering, well, how does this impact my child's admissions chances or scholarship chances now that in their minds, tests have become more important again? What is very helpful for families to know, though, is this is more of a change in name only. So Yale, for instance, last year when it was test optional, students who submitted test scores had a 3 times higher admit rate if they submitted test scores. So even under test optional admissions, they were functionally test required. So what families should understand is all of those highly selective schools, even if they say they're test optional, most of them are functionally test required. For instance, Duke, 93% of students at Duke who are enrolled submitted test scores. That's not very test optional. So yes, students absolutely have the option not to submit test scores and they can still apply. But if they actually want to get in, then that's not really optional to submit test scores when there's usually 3 times higher admit rates for students who submit scores. And the same is true of getting merit aid and scholarships. There are a lot of schools that will give you automatic scholarships if you hit certain scores. So some schools will literally over 4 years give you over $100,000 in automatic scholarships that you don't even need to apply for. you just automatically get them with a certain SAT or ACT score. But without an SAT or ACT score, you can't get those scholarships. So again, even if a school says it's test optional, really look at the school, see what percent of their enrolled students submitted test scores or not. No matter what, good test scores help you get in and get more money from the school.
And now turning to a story that is trending on our website, something that I think everyone online has been talking about for the last couple of weeks. Princess Kate. She was seen out with Prince William on video. Now, this comes after the picture that was taken to celebrate Mother's Day in the UK that was posted with Kate and her 3 children alongside of her. We know this kind of backfired when the Associated Press and other news agencies retracted it from publication because it appeared to have been manipulated, fueling even more rumors. I know Anna and I talked about this. There was at least 4 or 5 different Photoshop fails that you could kind of tell were a little funky. So we know Kate issued a statement acknowledging that she liked to experiment with editing and apologized for any confusion the photo had caused. After the photo and after a lot of people hadn't seen her since her abdominal surgery for the unspecified condition 2 months ago, it honestly made those rumors just get even worse. So yes, we did see her. We don't have that video on any publications here, but we are working to get that so we can take a look. But we know that they did appear to be shopping together. People that saw them said that they looked happy. So still, we don't know exactly what her condition is or why she had an abdominal surgery. We do know that the palace came out saying that she does not have cancer or anything like that. So hopefully we get some answers soon. But again, definitely something a lot of people have been talking about online. And if you want to learn more, you can head to KOLD.com. Just click the news tab, click national, and then you can see this story right here. And speaking of things that are trending, we know today is the first day of March Madness. Super exciting. I know this is a lot of people's favorite time of year. I know I'm definitely one of those folks as well. So the first 4 playing today are in Dayton, Ohio. We know 16 seed Wagner is going up against 16 seed Howard, and 10 seed Colorado State is playing 10 seed Virginia. So just the first day of what is going to be such an exciting time. I know if you haven't had your bracket filled out, you need to do that today before these games actually start. I believe the first game is starting at around 6 p.m. Arizona time. So we'll keep watching that for you, but we know a lot of us here at home, we are awaiting the Wildcats big game. That game against Long Beach State is this Thursday at 11 a.m. That is our time in Salt Lake City. But again, this article is on our website. It gives you a lot of just good details about the NCAA tournament, what we can expect on the men's side. So again, this is on KOLD.com. You can find it, I believe, under the national tab. Super easy, even if you just kind of search in NCAA tournament, it should pop up for you. And speaking of sports, we know our very own Damian Alameda, Jack Cooper, Sean Mahoney, they are going to have a sports special tonight to get you ready for March Madness. So we will be airing a sports special, Destiny in the Desert, tonight at 6:30 and tomorrow at 9:30 in the morning. So you can see sports director Damian Alameda, Sean Mahoney, Jack Cooper, all of them there. They're previewing the Wildcats' first round opponent in the NCAA tournament. And they're taking a look back at the program's biggest March moments, and they're looking ahead to the future in the Big 12 Conference. So I know they've been working on this for quite some time. Definitely going to be a good piece. I would tune in to watch that on 13 News. Again, it is airing tonight at 6:30, tomorrow morning at 9:30. And in other sports news, I'm going to switch on back here to our website. Definitely a cool story during Women's History Month. We know that history was actually made, and it has nothing to do with March Madness. So hey, there you go. So this is up on our website, KOLD.com. The first soccer game was played Saturday at a new stadium specifically dedicated to a women's sports team. Pretty cool to see. This happened in Kansas City, where the Kansas City Current took on the Portland Thorns. Also on hand for the game was Kansas City Chiefs quarterback Patrick Mahomes, who is a part owner of the team. The stadium seats more than 11,000 fans, and the historic game was officially a sellout. So super cool to see. On the historic day, Kansas City also pulled out the win. So, I mean, hey, what a great day. I bet it was super cool to be there as well. So this is up on our website, KOLD.com, if you're interested. And hey, how about 875 million reasons to buy a Mega Millions ticket today? That is the jackpot for tonight's drawing. This is just the 6th time in Mega Million jackpot history that it has reached this high. The other 5 all surpassed $1 billion. The all-time high was $1.6 billion, which was won with a Florida ticket last year. There has been no jackpot winner in 28 drawings. A winner tonight, though, could choose the all-cash option of only $413 million. I mean, hey, you can't complain, right? So again, that drawing is happening tonight. Let us know in the comments what you would do with the money, or kind of if you play. I know I'm definitely going to go out and buy a ticket after work today. It's always fun to buy a ticket, and I'm always convinced that I'm going to win, even though, you know, it never really happens. But hey, you can wish, right? So let us know down in the comments if you're buying a ticket, if you have been playing, what you would do if you won the money. I know I would take the all cash option. I think that's the most financially responsible. And I don't know what I would do. Definitely travel, buy a house, do all the great things. So lots to look forward to today. And honestly, with March Madness getting started, just a good time of year. Speaking of a good time of year, it is the first day of spring. You are taking a live look out at the Tucson Mountains, out at Mount Bigelow this morning. Definitely looking like it's going to be a great day out there. So get out there and enjoy it. Tune in tomorrow for another episode of Unscripted on 13 Plus. Have a great day. Thanks for watching.